Hey, welcome back to an exciting episode of YOML. And as you all know, this is the year of magical learning. Today we're on reflection 159. I think we are going on to a business
Yeah,
kick
I
this
don't know if
time,
this is
right?
business.
Is it
I don't
business?
know.
Oh
I
no.
don't. I don't know that I would call it business, but I mean, it kind of is because it talks about like startup stories. But
Okay. Well,
uh,
it sounds like the commercial and stuff works to me. So let's see what we can learn from this book.
yeah. So this is book 159, or reflection 159, I guess, at this point in time.
Yeah, book whatever.
And yeah, the book is How I Built This: The Unexpected Paths to Success from the World's Most Inspiring Entrepreneurs by the author Guy Raz. So if you follow, do you know who Guy Raz is by any chance?
No.
So he is the host of this NPR podcast. It's
Hmm.
like one of the most popular podcasts, and it's probably the most popular NPR podcast, I would say. The podcast is called How I Built This, and basically he'll interview um, like the co-founders and people that were like the early stage, like the power bar people. He'll talk about like what was the story of how you built the power bar, or Angie's List, like, and he's interviewing Angie Hicks, and it's like what how did you build this, Angie, and what did what's the story behind all the things that you went through to get to where it got to
And
today,
what's your key to success?
and what's their keys to success? What were the pivotal points when they had, looking back? It was very reflective. It's businesses that are already established that we
Hmm.
know now, that are name brands, the Airbnbs, he gets all these like really like Instagram, whatever. He gets like all these really famous like entrepreneurs. It doesn't just have to be technology. There's consumer packaged goods, there's technology, there's retail, there's a lot of different like people that he pulls in from all different like avenues of the business world,
Hmm.
and he just interviews them. And like there's something about this podcast, it's like it's just addicting. It's like uh he as a host is very engaging in terms of like the questions that he asks are I don't know, he just seems to be able to suck out these stories from these people, and he just gives them like this free safe space to tell like their real story, of how they build it, and it becomes like these kind of emotional um learning, a lot of learning that goes on, a lot of, it's a great podcast. It's fantastic. So the book is kind of him summarizing a lot of his interviews over the years, into, I don't know what you want to call it, maybe like a framework of, some general like generalities and rules as to how a lot of these people built it, and some examples of, from his own interviews in the past. So it's kind of like him trying to summarize it all together, and to kind of, generalize a little bit around like, hey, here's kind of what I've seen, the breakdown of like all these different companies and all these different owners that I've interviewed and all these different founders, and like here's the blueprint, of how they built this a lot of times, and like the key similarities and trends that he saw. So it's a good book. I mean, I'm a big fan of the podcast, and I think, yeah, we'll talk about it in the reflection here, but that's what it's about. So any questions? I guess, does that sound interesting to you at all?
It depends. Depends
Yeah.
on whether or not it's accurate enough, or it's just a bunch of BS that you just build, just like a lot of you know um these what you call these like saying that sounds good, but I have no idea what it means.
No, it's not like that. No, he's really just condensing a lot of his interviews into patterns that he saw,
Hmm.
from people. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. So anyway, so on to the reflection. So uh, share my screen here. The title of this one is luck, skill, or something else. And the I wanted to start this reflection off actually, because as you probably have just heard me talking about the book itself and the podcast, like this is before this journey began, before the year of magical learning began, taking you back to, you know the old Chris Sears, before Amelia, before True, before the year of magical, before Clubbing, before the year of magical learning, before the books, like, writing, whatever, all the stuff, right? um how I built this was like 100% my primary source of learning. And I don't even know that besides like a documentary, maybe on TV, it wasn't like I was reading a lot of books. I listened to How I Built This, and I've listened to almost every single episode that's ever been made. And he's made a lot of them. Like, so they're usually like an hour ish, hour and a half ish sometimes. And I would try to go through like two, sometimes three a week. I would listen to him on the way to work when I had like a 35-minute commute each way every single day. I would listen to him when I was walking from the office, to go to my car, which was like a 20-minute walk. I'd listen to it when I was like cutting the grass. Like I would listen to, I mean, this is like what I listened to. I mean, this is what I learned from. And the reason why I was so obsessed with this podcast, because of I just described to you, it's just a great podcast, and the stories are fantastic, and you learn so much. But like for me personally, it was more than just learning these great stories from entrepreneurs. It was this is what I wanted to do with my life. This was my dream. Was starting a business, was being the Slacks of the world, the Canvas, the Whole Foods, the Airbnbs, the Angie's List, taking something from nothing and starting this beautiful company that, it was my dream one day to be able to be interviewed by Guy Raz. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, this was like, I was like, man, I know that someday if I ever get to the point in time where I get to, tell my own how I built this story, like this would be amazing. Like this would be like my dream come true. It means that everything that I'm working hard for and trying to do, like, it all paid off. Right. And I tried and I tried and I tried since I was probably about 24 years old up until Amelia was born when I was 35. So for about a decade of my life ish, I've tried to start multiple businesses. I've told you about this stuff. One of the business that we originally connected on, was one of my old ideas that I wanted to respin with the new twist that we're doing stuff on. But yeah, this was long. I mean, without sugarcoating it, this is my dream, right? And then, my daughter was born, and then everything that we went through with her battle and ultimately losing her battle. And after that happened, like poof, it all, I mean, we've talked about this before, but like poof, it all went away, right? Like everything that was my life before was not my life anymore. And everything that I cared about before, I didn't care about anymore. No joke, I have not listened to How I Built This ever again. I mean, ever since Amelia has been in my life, I have not ever. I don't know. There was just something about I couldn't go back to it. Like I was like, I don't. This isn't interested me anymore. Like this isn't what I want to do with my life. We've talked about this a lot in terms of the atomic bomb, right? It just wiped out the entire identity that who Chris was before that all happened. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So as I slowly came out of that rubble and we started to and I met you along the way, and we've gone down this new road, and I couldn't be happier. Like the funny thing is like as time has gone on, the further and further I've gotten away from how I built this, right? It's funny because the reason why I think that happened for me personally is because I've been spending so much time not thinking about other people's stories and just living my own and doing what Amelia taught me, which is living for two and focusing on my purpose and my values. And the funny thing is like I spent 10 years trying to how I built this, my own story, trying to do the traditional VC funding, startups, all that, whatever. And I accomplished basically nothing other than losing a lot of money and wasting a lot of time. And one of my business ventures, I pissed off one of my best friends, so like that's a whole lot of, like, yeah. But since then, after my focus was realigned and, through, my journey with my daughter and this Your Magical Learning journey, adventure, I guess, if you will. Like I've technically accomplished probably more than I've ever accomplished in my entire life. And the 2.5 years since this has all happened and my life has changed. And I don't give a shit, obviously. Like that's not what I was doing any of this for, because like I'm tired of living other people's stories. And that's what this reflection is really about, is I'm tired of, I was tired of dreaming about other people's stories. And now I'm just focused on doing stuff with my daughter and living my values every single day. And lo and behold, things started to happen, right? But at the same time, like that was never my goal. It was always just about my daughter and trying to live for two. So what this made me think of, actually, so Guy has a very famous, he has the last question that he always asked every single one of his people on his podcast, and he would say, this is how he finished every single one of these episodes. It was, how much of your success do you attribute to your skill, your intelligence, or your hard work, or how much you contribute you think it is luck. And I was always fascinated to hear everybody's answers. And I, back when my dream was my dream pre-atomic bomb and pre all that other stuff, I envisioned myself answering this question someday, but I never actually sat down and wrote out my answer, or never really thought out the answer to it. Right. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I was like, man, I can't wait to someday for him to ask me that question and I can figure out what I wanted to say in that on the spot, after this journey though, and where we are today, fast forward a couple years later, I actually have a completely different answer, because I do know what my answer would be this, and I would actually say it's something else. It's purpose. My answer would be neither. That goes back to all the achievements and things like that. Like none of this is luck. That was not lucky to lose my daughter. I was not, I don't work really hard every single day. This goes back to that concept of that Malcolm Gladwell that I was bitching to you about the other day about desirable disadvantages. I don't know, maybe we haven't talked about that, but we will in the future, because it just stuck in my crawl so bad about desirable disadvantages. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? The truth of the matter is like this is just purpose driven life, and I don't want to do a lot of this stuff, and it isn't luck, it isn't hard work, it isn't skill. I can't not do this. I cannot not do what I promised my daughter. I cannot not knowing what we are trying to do, and trying to do for ourselves, and trying to do for other people, and trying to honor my time and my with my daughter. Like, there is no decision for me to make at all at this point in time. And like, we work really hard, right? Like, we've put in a lot of work in a lot of these projects, but like, that's not why this is ever going to be successful, because we're not trying to do this for any outcome. Like, we're just doing this because we know this is the right thing to do. And that's what I would call purpose, so that's my reflection for how I built this. This is a personal one, because like, this was a really, it's like two different Chris's, it's the Chris before Amelia and the Chris after Amelia. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. So I put final thought was purpose has the power to change the world, in my opinion. And it's pretty amazing. So yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts.
Well, I think you should put purpose has a power to change the world as your reflection title.
Fair enough.
So for me, I love the way that you put this together, and it's still, because I love to talk about purpose, right? Because that means I can talk about beaver, right?
Yeah.
The beaver
Oh,
must
God.
dam. The beaver must dam.
There we go.
If I'm born a beaver, right? I can look at the eagle all day long and trying to learn how to fly, and I can watch all the birds fly.
True.
You know what? I can never fly. I can work harder than any birds that's out there.
Yep.
And I will never be able to fly. So that's why I don't listen to these, how I built this, because to me, that doesn't work for me. It works for people who are like in, doing whatever they do that fits them. If it doesn't fit you, it won't work, right? For me, it's like, instead of learning how to do from other, you got to do yourself. Because I have 4 kids and you have 1, and I can tell you right now, I have never ever taught my kids how to walk.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Did you teach Luca how to walk?
I mean, we tried to mimic it and show him an example,
but he doesn't learn by go and listen to How Do I Walk podcast from Chris. How Do I Walk podcast from True, okay? My daughter, the thing is, you have to understand, if you are meant to walk, right? If your purpose, right, is to be a human being, you're gonna walk you're gonna walk. If you're a bird, right, you're meant to fly, you will learn how to fly. All birds learn how to fly. I have never seen a bird that had not figure out how to fly. I have never seen a human.
Penguins.
Well, they can't fly. They're not that kind of bird. They're not flying birds.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right. I have never seen a human that has not learned how to walk. Have you? Can you give me an example of one human being?
Well, yeah, I mean, somebody that has disability, but that
has nothing to do with because you have all the faculties to become an entrepreneur, right?
Right.
A person with all their faculty, they don't have a disability, they will walk. 100% of them will walk.
Right.
Unless you have a disability, like, hey, my leg doesn't work, or my brain doesn't work, or my
Right.
whatever doesn't work. You and I would say, well, I have all the faculty to be an entrepreneur. If I'm meant to be an entrepreneur, because if that's in my blood, then I will be. And so I don't need to go and watch somebody else's build their stuff. I just need to
Yeah.
just do my own shit.
Yeah. You're right. Actually, it's funny. I know you got a lot more into tank, but you just reminded me. Um, the when you go to college now, a lot of colleges have entrepreneurial schools and their business schools, and it cracks me up because it's like the whole definition of an entrepreneur is literally just doing it and figuring it out on your own. There is no education to provide,
The entrepreneur is like you build as you fly. You build that
right,
plane as you fly. That is an entrepreneur,
right,
right?
yeah, you
You
figure it
you
out. Like, I
you
mean, yeah,
you jump into the deep end and you figure out how to swim.
right,
That's an entrepreneur. Because if you are born in that kind of a characteristic or personality, you will become an entrepreneur no matter what. You can be poor, you can be in Asia, you can be in a third world country, and you still gonna be an entrepreneur. You see
yep,
kids without education become entrepreneur, right? So it's not about learning stuff, it's about being who you are. So to me, I love how you put it, your answer with purpose. Purpose is the only thing, not luck, not skills, nothing else. It's the only thing that gonna give you what it is that you want. Because like I say, if you are a beaver, there's no way you're gonna be able to fly, because you can learn 100,000, 1,000,000 hours of how to, the flight school, or how the birds fly. Hey, you flap your wing like this and blah
right.
blah. You look at how I teach my kid, right? How I teach my kid to
Well,
walk. I don't actually teach them, you stand with one leg in front, and you push,
right,
some, but not too much force, but a little bit, maybe
right,
40% force, right? This is what I look at when I see, how I build this. That's a bunch of BS, because yes, it worked for you, but it would not work for me. Like, just like I said before, is your
no,
key
you're
to
right,
success is like your key to your house. Your
right.
key, right? If I copy your key, it won't unlock my door. That's so it's a waste of my time to go and find how you build this, so I can take that and go home and replicate it. You can't replicate that. I mean, that's
I
that's
I
just
agree.
that's just the nature of it. So instead of
That,
like
that's
look,
that's the beauty of these stories, by the way, is you can't replicate them. Like, that's why they're so captivating. Like, hearing, like, I worked at Angie's List, right? Like, I mean, I saw Angie Hicks every single day. I was there for 6.5 years of my life, and when it was still a small startup, like, she was just down the hall. Like, I mean, she dated my uncle back in college, or my uncle-in-law, I guess, somebody that my aunt married, but she had dated the. I mean, it's not like, I mean, I saw her every single day, and then I hear her story. Like, you can't replicate what she did. No one can replicate what she did to start Angie's List, because she put her blood, sweat, and tears, and she problem solved along the way. She did, she just did what she. I don't know why she did it. Like, I mean, I don't even know that she knows why she did
why
it. But,
why
like, the
why
story
does
is,
why does Luca want to walk?
I don't know,
Because
because it's his purpose. Yeah, right.
exactly.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
back to what I'm saying. It's your purpose. If
right,
you're a human being, you want to walk, right? There's no way that I can teach my kid how to walk. You cannot teach your kid how to walk. You can only help them. You cannot teach them,
right,
right? So the only thing is that, let's say you don't teach them how to walk, they're gonna figure out how to walk on their own. It may take longer, but if you, as a parent, you can help them by giving them a hand. You just give them one finger, and they hold on to it, right? And they walk faster, because that's the only thing you can help them in terms of shorten the time cycle for them to
right,
figure out who they are. Like, become a human being, faster than he would have to figure it out on his own. He maybe a tad, maybe 10% better if you were to give him a helping hand, right? That's what we do as a parent. Is I give my kids my hand, so they can hold on to it as they kind of like trying to waddle a lot, kind of waddle a little bit, and eventually learn how to walk. But they learn how to walk on their own. I can't teach them. My parent didn't teach me, right? And my grandparent didn't teach my parent. You think about it. There's no
right,
way you can teach somebody how to do something. They have to do it on their own. See, like, I learned how to ride a bike, right?
right,
Let's say you want to teach Luca how to ride a bike, right? You think, hey, I'm expert. Don't worry, Luca. I can teach you how to learn bike. You can take it. You will be successful right away. Get on the bike. You put your feet forward and you pedal, and then you keep the balance. Right, easy peasy. You should be able to ride a bike without falling off. That
I
is what these things are telling you. This is
I
the
know.
blueprint, right? But you know what? No single effort, whether riding a bike, whether to walk, has to be success for the first time. The thing is, you think about it, when a kid learns how to walk, how many failures does he has? How many things he has to learn on his own
A
before
lot.
he build enough foundations, enough strength in his legs and the muscle he's adjusting. When he stands up, his muscle is adjusting to how to balance this thing, right?
Yeah.
And his muscle is going to grow as he falls down, right? He said, well, if I falls down, it gives me reinforcement feedback to say, okay, if I would falling down because I was tilting too far to the left, then I'm gonna shift my muscle a little bit to the right. I'm adjusting. This is
Right.
not failure. This is adjustment period, right?
Right.
So when you are on this entrepreneur kick, right, what you did isn't a failure. It's adjustment period. You said, well, I hit too far to the right. Now I aim a little bit
Yeah.
more to the left, right? That's what you do. So to me, you have to do the things to be successful. You cannot learn it from somebody. There's certain things you can do to get help, but help only give you 10 to 20% of the overall
Yeah.
like
It might give you a
contribution.
visual or something
I,
along those lines, I mean,
I,
we need visuals, but
well,
like you need to see a
it
tennis
does
ball
help. It does help, but
get hit,
80% of it is like just doing the thing you're supposed to do. If you
Right.
want to be entrepreneur and then just launch and fix as you fly, that's
Right.
an entrepreneur. If you can
Yeah.
do that, eventually you can be you have enough tries to adjust where it's going to fly.
I
That's
mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, if you want to be a writer, you don't become a writer by reading 1,000 books. You become a
how
writer
to write,
by
how to
by
write.
by by writing a book. Like, I mean, you become a writer by sitting down and writing. Like, I mean, that's what a writer does.
So that's what I'm saying is, that's why I love it when you say, my answer is purpose, because purpose is 80% of it. Because the purpose is like, I'm doing this, and then I look over, okay, if I'm doing this and he does it that way, let me adjust to see what he does. And I'm looking at him and I'm adjusting myself as I do it. So that helps me, but not because I see how he does it. I saw how I did it, and I saw how different he did it, that I compared it to, and then maybe make adjustment. Just like I told you about the red pill and the blue pill. You can't just take red pill or the blue pill. You have to take both
Right.
for you to
Right.
know the differences.
Yeah.
So
No,
for
you're right.
me,
Yeah.
if you live your purpose, that's going to take you wherever you want to go. Because I guarantee you, I have never seen a single person with all that faculty intact fail to walk.
Yeah. I mean, I
I have never
I
seen
think
a
you make a nice
bird.
point.
I have never seen a bird, right, with all their faculties, right?
Well,
The right feather, except for penguin. Penguin is not a bird.
well, no,
You,
no, no, I was gonna say, like, you're maybe in 100 years birds don't exist. Why birds don't exist.
I mean,
Why fish don't exist, right?
it's
So,
it's
I
it's
mean, penguin
it's
may not be a
human.
bird. Is my point.
It's human categorization of
Right.
penguin as a bird, but
Right.
to me,
Yeah.
penguin is another animal. It's not a bird. They just
Right.
don't want to make another category for the penguin. Okay, I'm just
Right.
saying it's the bird who is meant to fly. Okay, let's put it that way. The parents, the grandparents, all the parents,
Right.
like right, they're meant to fly and all flew. Right, not a single offspring with all the faculties have ever failed to fly. Because if you're going to be an entrepreneur, all you have to do is just be it.
Entrepreneur.
Be entrepreneur, you will succeed. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, 100% of all, okay, unless you have, like I say, some disabilities, then yeah, that doesn't count because like I said, it's outside your control. But if
Right.
you have the faculties, right, you will learn how to walk. Birds will learn how to fly. Entrepreneurs will have a successful business. And like I said, you are going to try 100 times, 1,000 times of not be able to walk successfully until you walk. Same thing with birds. Sometimes they couldn't fly, but after multiple try, it's not just one, two, three, four, 10. It's like hundreds. You're talking
Right.
about Luca, right? You look at Luca. I'm saying he falls down 100, more than 100 times, easily,
Yeah. No. Hell,
right?
that damn kid was so smart. He knee walked he for like,
Mm?
for like 5 months, like he's been knee walking, and then he discovered, well, if I just reach out my hand, people pick me up, then I can go walk around, with somebody holding my hand, so I don't need to bounce. And like, I mean, like he even found ways to like find solutions and workarounds to his own problems until finally one day he was like, okay, I feel like I can do this now, and
That
then he just let go, right?
that's
Like,
exactly my point. He doesn't need to learn from you. You don't need to teach him. All you
right.
have to do is help him. To give him your hand, right? So that he can just use it for to balance himself for a bit, and then eventually he just let go of your hand and walk on his own.
Yep.
Right? My kid does that. I have 4 kids. Your kid does that. Everybody else gets the same way. I'm telling
Right.
you, watching and telling people how to do things is not going to work. Telling me how to be an eagle if I'm a beaver, it's not going to work. I can spend more time than an eagle on how to learn how to fly, and I still won't be able to fly. And an eagle,
Right.
without much effort, is going to learn how to fly. And he's going to fail a couple of times, but I'm going to fail 1,000 times, and I still won't fly because if it's not my purpose, I'm not going to succeed. And it doesn't matter.
I was the book that I'm reading right now is you'll probably laugh at this one because we've been making fun of it for years now, and I finally was like, well, if I'm going to make fun of it, I might as well read the book. It's called Radical Candor, the book that I'm reading right now. so the reason why I'm bringing it up is um I know I've always joked with you, and we've talked about this a lot over this journey as well. Of you know, I'm a talker, like, and that's just what I do. Like, I mean, that's like, it's like you talk about, your beaver's got a dam, whatever. Well, Chris Sears has got to talk. I
It's
guess
going to talk, yeah,
that's,
exactly.
and she was talking about the author of this book was talking about she worked at Apple and she worked at Google, and that was kind of her basis of the most of her experience. She started a couple startups as well, but she's like a Silicon Valley, Apple, Google, like early stages in both of those companies kind of thing. And like, was around like Sergey Brin and, Larry Page and Steve Jobs all the time and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so one of the things that she said about Steve Jobs was that he was he liked to call himself a loud listener. And because like, and the reason I joke about, the reason I'm bringing this up is your purpose stuff. Like, I can't not fucking talk. Like, I don't know what it is, but like I'm glad that I finally got a label, and I know that we don't like labels, but I feel a little vindicated. There's a little bit of a label of like, I do listen to people. I just can't shut my fucking mouth while I'm listening to them, and I continue, and then I start talking, and then I just can't shut my mouth anymore. Like, but I am listening. Like, and my whole entire life I've been told like, you're to be a listener, you have to be an active listener. Like, shut your fucking mouth. You know what I mean? Like, and
Well,
I'm like,
I
it's awful.
disagree. I disagree
I
because
know. I'm saying this is what I've been told my whole entire life, and I can't do it. But like reading this book and talking about these kind of reflections, and you're like, I don't care. There is no one way to listen to people. Maybe I'm just a loud listener, and that's okay. Like, but the reason it was just funny because you're saying like a beaver's got a dam, and like there's no one path for any of this stuff, right? Like,
there isn't.
yeah,
It's a
everybody's
unique
got a path,
path, right? So be yourself.
right?
Do your own shit. Stop looking at other people's shit and say, I want to be that. That's is not for one. Even if you figured out how to fly, you're not gonna be happy because you want to freaking dam in the water because you
Right,
you have this waterproof pelt, right?
right.
you
Yeah, if
you're
people
born
told
for the
me,
water. You say, hey, you don't want a fish to be out of the air. You don't want to ask the fish to climb a tree and say, hey, and you suck. And monkey is the best animal in the world because he can climb a tree, right? That's the thing is you try to loop everybody as like a commodity. Everybody's
right,
not the same, and people say
right,
you are the same. And right now, people are. Well, I would say they are uh on a verge of revenge against the force of mass unity.
the
Not mass unity.
categorization of
Yes,
yeah, the
because
labeling,
the labeling. Hey,
yeah,
you're
this
this
is
and
what you
you're
do
that.
if you want to be an entrepreneur. This is what you got to do. This is the
Because
blueprint,
because the
like,
thing is, every entrepreneur is the same. They think every human is the same. So they do.
right,
Hey, you go work at this time. You go home at this time. You eat this time. You eat the same thing I eat. Right? I give. It's like almost mass production. Almost like assimilations of this oneness. Like everybody is exactly the same. Like you're talking about the beehive, right? Everybody's the
Right.
same thing, and that is, it's getting people to start to reject that concept, because people say, "Hey, I hate this. I hate my life because my life sucks. I hate my work because I don't want to be packed into the same routine as everybody. Hey, wake up at this time, go to
Yeah.
traffic and sit in the traffic at this time, go to drop my kids off of daycare at this time, drop off my kids at this time. You study the same thing, you study the same stupid shit everybody's is giving you. The reason why I said that, because I think even the thing they give you, they don't even believe in it. They just take it from somebody and just blah, just throw it out on your head. This is what you need to learn, whether it's
Yeah.
right or wrong. They don't have no clue. And so that's the thing, is people are like rejecting the fact that, I want to have my own time. I want to have my own freedom to do things. I want to do different things than my friends or my neighbor or whatever. I don't want to have the same freaking. But the thing you think about it, look at all the houses, right?
I got a surprise for you. Hang on. Can you hear this?
Mm.
Hmm. See what happened?
What happened?
You didn't see, he was looking out the window to all the
Like,
ducks in
right?
the pond while he was typing on the computer, and he went and he goes. It's your it's
It,
like I don't know,
it, it,
the as you were talking, I got this idea visual
yeah,
in my head of a bunch of beavers and beaver in a flight in an eagle school, like looking at, like,
yeah,
flight maps or whatever, and then they look outside and they're, and there's a bunch of beavers damming down the stream, and they're all
yeah.
like,
Uh.
yeah, no,
We're talking about purpose, right? He
right,
wants to be in the lake, but that's what he wants to be. That's where he is,
right,
going
we're
to
supposed to
thrive
be,
at, right?
right,
So that's what I'm saying is, people are not the same. So when you are telling people, "Hey, my key to success, you can take it and go home and then unlock your door," that doesn't work, because you look at all the houses. When KB Homes goes in and build all the houses exactly the same, people reject it and say, "Hey, I don't want to buy it." That's why KB Homes
yeah,
houses are not very
that's true,
expensive.
that's
The
true,
custom homes are the ones expensive.
right,
Think about it. It's like two, three times as much, because they want the individuality, and we all do. It isn't our expression. This is our nature. You cannot make it the same, and it's going against our grain or nature to put everything the same, and it is going to be exactly the same if you take somebody else's key to success and say, "This is going to be my key. I'm going to try it." And you're going to find out that 99.99% of all the cases, you won't be able to open the door.
yeah,
It's just not. And
yeah,
you're going to say, "Oh, fuck," right? It's like, and that's the image that, gets in my head when I see all these gurus out there say, "Hey, I can help you succeed by giving you the blueprint," right? No, you're just making that guy rich, because that's his
right,
blueprint, is to sell you some
a
information,
blueprint,
some blueprint, right?
right,
That's how. This is like people who go say, "Hey, I have this system, right, to flip in real estate, and I make a bunch of money. So now I'm teaching you." It's like,
right,
fuck, if you're making a bunch of money in flipping real estate, why are you teaching?
yeah,
Why
I
are you
mean,
why are you teaching and asking me to pay you like 30 grand for your course? It's like shit.
share the elixir, I guess, is the hero's
No,
journey,
no,
all that other stuff. But
no one
uh,
share the elixir of life. Okay,
no, I agree. Yeah, I
no
mean, no,
one does. You
I
look at a
agree.
silver gene. The only way that I'm going to share to you, because I can get a benefit from you. That's the only way I'm going to share, because I had to gain something that I cannot get. Okay,
Right.
that is just a silver gene in us, and that's part of our ecosystem. So no one is going to tell you how to build something or how to do something that is going to be either one still valid, because let's say Bill Gates say, "Oh, I built this, blah blah blah." He knows that whatever he did, it no longer works,
Yeah. No, I mean,
right?
that's true. Yeah.
If it
Well,
worked,
and it worked. It worked in that time and place and that setting and
Exactly. Because
with
he
those
knew
people
that
with
it
yeah,
expired. The
right,
blueprint expired. It no
right.
longer works. So he just sell you a bunch of like expire or spoiled food.
Like
That's what.
you can't recreate a culture. Like I lived the culture of Angie's List. Like you can never recreate that culture. I mean, yeah, it's dead and gone at this point in time. But like what Angie and Bill built was unique. Like I mean, the culture was them. Like in these businesses, like you can't recreate that. Like I mean, there's like that. That's one of the beauties. Just to be fair to Guy Raz, because I don't want to shit on how I built this because this was I really do I did love I still love the stories are great. Like they're
But
captivating stories. But I'm tired of
stories.
listening to other people's stories at this point in
No, the
time.
thing
Like I'm
is,
ready to
I'm not saying it don't listen to Guy Raz, don't listen to the
right.
people. I'm just saying it's for each one of you. Make sure that the lesson you take applies to you.
Right. Yes.
Like,
Like what we're doing here. Like you got to take the lesson and apply it to your own life and figure out how it makes sense for you and then keep doing it. Like just
I'm
keep
not saying it is not beneficial, okay? But if you take exactly what it is, right, without looking at yourself and say, okay, am I an ego? Right? It's this guy is teaching me how to fly. Look at yourself first. Am I an ego? Am I a kind of animal that's meant to fly? If I am, then yeah, be
right.
truthful to yourself. If you're a fucking beaver, then be a beaver. Don't try to be an eagle, right? Even everybody say, hey, eagle is more majestic, beaver is like a rodent, blah blah. Accept, embrace who you are, right? Because you
Right.
cannot be an eagle no matter what. I can't turn to a white guy if I wanted to, right? I can't turn to a basketball player if I wanted to. I cannot, right? I can be miserable trying, or I can be
Right.
happy doing exactly what it is I was built for, whatever that is.
Right.
That's what I'm saying is,
How I built this should be how I built me.
yeah,
There you
how
go.
you
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
build yourself.
Right. Yeah. I love that. That's good. Awesome. Well, any final thoughts? I like that as a good jump off point here, actually. I thought that was
Yeah,
a
that's
good
like I
ending.
said, be yourself or you want to change the world.
I agree. Couldn't agree more with that. Powerful words and powerful sentiment. So, question we can leave for you all is how much of your success do you attribute to your skill, your intelligence, your hard work, or how much of it is luck, or how much of it is something
None of
else
it.
completely? It's
It's
none of
none
the
of
above, in my
none of
opinion.
it.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. But anyway, something to think about, something to chew on, and yeah, comment, place your comments in the comment section, and we look forward to talking to you tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good. Good night.